Hello, welcome to 100 Yards of Football. Today, we're going to talk about sports, high school sports here in the metro Atlanta area. It is that time of the season, and we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts of what's going on in high school football in metro Atlanta. And I have the man that's in charge of that today, the one and only Jasper Jewell, the athletic director for Atlanta Public School System. So if you like the show, come on in and join us. My name is Coach Kevin Bull Jones. I'm in a new location. Here, part of the APS family, but more importantly, I got the man that's with me today that takes care of everything that needs to be taken care of for football and all the sports in Atlanta Public Schools. Jasper Jewell, thank you for being with us today. I know that your schedule is extremely tight with this past Monday, with practice starting, and you had the helm of over 50,000 students at Atlanta Public School District. Tell us what it's been like for you so far.
Well, honestly, first and foremost, thank you guys for having me on the show. It's more than a pleasure to be here to chat with you guys. You guys are doing an outstanding job, and for that, I just want to say thank you. The past 3 days have been, honestly, it's been surprisingly good. Practices have been going smooth. We have an outstanding group of athletic directors and head coaches here in Atlanta Public Schools, and I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest with you. You know, they've done exactly what they're supposed to do. They've adhered to all of our guidance and guidelines with regards to COVID-19 and keeping our kids safe, and we're moving forward. So everything so far, so good. It's been going real good.
Jasper, this is a special interview for me because being a longtime coach here in Metro Atlanta area, in other school systems, always faced City of Atlanta schools, but I must say, since now I'm here, a part of North Atlanta High School, defensive coordinator, I not only feel like I'm blessed, I'm just amazed at the facilities. I'm amazed at the athletic directors, the professionalism. I mean, I'm amazed about the family of work, what it takes to be successful here in Atlanta Public School System. And just to see the facilities, I never knew it. I never knew that things look so good over here. And yes, I'm bragging. I'm kind of ashamed that I didn't already know, because I've been in, as you know, I've been in coaching for a very long time.
Right.
But Jasper, I really want to talk about the great things that I know that you've done since being at the helm as athletic director of one of the largest school districts in Metro Atlanta. I want to talk about some of the things that you put in place. I mean, of course, I was amazed at the practice fields and facilities, but can you expound more on just some of the things once you took over as the helm as athletic director for Atlanta Public School System, things that you've been able to interject?
Well, yeah, since my arrival in 2010, I came here from DeKalb County Schools, where I had 15 and a half years of teaching and coaching, as well as school level AD experience. I was blessed and fortunate to be a head coach at two different locations, at Miller Grove High School and at Stone Mountain High School. When I came over here in 2010, I worked for a guy by the name of Jeff Beggs. Jeff Beggs was retired from Randall High Schools, and he came over, and we both had a vision. We had a vision of what we wanted athletics to look like here in Atlanta Public Schools. Me being a product of APS and him knowing the landscape of APS and Atlanta Public Schools, they've always been blessed with tremendous talent.
Yes.
But when we came in, we saw that there were a few things that were lacking in the equipment and facilities department. So our goal was to give our student athletes, our coaches, and our athletic directors the very best facilities that we could possibly get them, so that they can feel good about what they're doing, so they can feel good about going out on the field or going on to the court. And, you know, the old saying is, you look good, you play good, you feel good. So, we prided ourselves in that. I can say hats off to my Board of Education, as well as my superintendent, both present superintendent, Dr. Lisa Herring, as well as previous superintendents, for supporting our push in our SPLOSH initiatives, that special local option sales tax. And so what we did, we wrote proposals through our SPLOSH initiatives to improve athletic facilities. One of the first that we wrote and we had on board were to install artificial surfaces on our multi-purpose fields. Multi-purpose meaning football, lacrosse, as well as soccer. We were blessed to already have lights when we walked in here, so that was a great plus that we had. So we want to continue to enhance our practice facilities, as well as just make sure that our coaches felt good
Mm.
about hitting the field. They looked good, and they knew that we had our backs, that we had their backs, and they could trust in us with whatever they needed, whatever they wanted, and we could facilitate them as best as we could. And for that, we just continue to take off. We're in the process now through the Splash referendum that we're doing now. We're building we call them field houses, but they're actually storage units at each
Okay.
facility. And within those storage units, you will have concessions, you will have restrooms, you will have a data closet where a coach can turn into a small closet, and you will have a large storage and concession area. So for that, and it will be located on the field. For that, it gives us an opportunity to store our equipment in there, and also, when we have games on site, it gives them an opportunity for the patrons to use the restroom, as well as booster club and athletic teams to make a little money by opening up the concession stand. So we're continuing to try to raise the bar here in Atlanta Public Schools, and I couldn't be more proud of our construction and our facilities department, led by Chief Operating Officer Larry Hoskins, for his undying support of what we've done and what we tried to do, as well as, like I said, previous superintendents, as well as our Board of Education.
And for those that are listening now that might not be in Georgia or the Metro Atlanta area, let me give you a larger picture of what we're talking about, because a lot of times we're talking about Metro Atlanta, City of Atlanta, and of course Metro Atlanta encompasses so many different counties, but we're talking about the core, that downtown spread out from one end of the north end of Atlanta, where I am now, to the south end of Atlanta. And we're talking about, as far as the social economic status and incomes, there is a large disparity because this does encompass inner city Atlanta. And for all the stories that you hear about places in other major cities where in the inner city, where some places and locations might lack the equipment and facilities, this area, we don't have that problem. And I gladly say we, because I'm a part of the family. And sports fans and viewers, for me, it's humbling experience, because I've been in many places before, and not to put down any other place, because I love everywhere I've been, but it's great to see positive movement from the leadership in athletics, because you hit a buzzword there, Jasper, about the coaches and how they feel, how the players feel when they step into the campuses. From the north end of Atlanta, where the median income can start at maybe over 150,000. I know the more specifics about it, until the other end of Atlanta as far as the social economic status. Go ahead and give us those differences, so how you beautifully blended all of that in, because it's magnificent to me.
Well, the unique thing about it is, you hit the nail right on the head, Bull. We have such a varied socioeconomic mix, as well as a diverse field that we serve. We serve all types, all races, all nationalities. We are varied across the board. So for me, in this position, you see no color. You only see a child wanting to do what's best to help his or her family. You only see a coach that wants what's best for his or her student athlete. One of the things that I'm most proud of, 2 years ago, had an opportunity to walk the campuses with senior leadership. And when I got here, one of the pushes were to get weight rooms up to speed and up to par. I was blessed and fortunate to receive funding to do all of the weight rooms, all over the district. And that for me was a godsend, because we had some school systems that they had great weight rooms. We had some schools in the system that had great weight rooms. They didn't need much. We had some that had nothing. So I treated them all as though they had nothing. And we went in with the athletic administration as well as the coaches, and we were able to retrofit all of our weight rooms. And for that is because that's where it all starts. We all know that. Your building blocks are in the weight room.
Amen.
Regardless of the sport, your base,
Amen.
your foundation, your building blocks are going to be made in the weight room. So for
Amen.
me, that was a bigger win for me than the turf fields. Even though our kids deserved it, but to see them and the glow on their faces as they walked in those weight rooms, and they could use them for not only for athletics but for physical education as well. So we could serve a dual purpose. We could serve them on an academic piece, and we could serve them on an athletic piece. That was probably one of the most defining moments in my 10 plus years here in Atlanta Public Schools to get that done. So we're very excited about that, and we continue to try to press forward and move forward and make things even better as we continue to work.
Wow. And that moves me because I bought my, as coaches, and I say we as coaches because you've been on the coaching end as well. When we bring our families to be a part of and walk through the offices of where we work and the places where we spend the majority of our lives as football coaches, I had the pleasure of showing my son pictures of where his father would be working. And he didn't believe, listen, the weight room. I shouldn't brag about it because I'm quite sure some of the people I got to compete against are gonna be watching this as well. And under the leadership of Jamie All, who's a great friend of mine, he's the head football coach here, great offensive mind, and between he and I, it should be fun when we get this thing rolling. And but to watch the look on my son's eyes, who's in college, he was in town visiting, and of course, I gave him just let him just walk around. I let him see the weight room. And of course, when you see my son, he looked like he's touched some weights before. So he's in college. He says, Dad, this looks like, he said, first of all, he said, Daddy, this is a City of Atlanta school? I said, yeah. I said, yes, it is. He said, Daddy, this is City of Atlanta? I said, yes, it is. Isn't it beautiful? And he said, Daddy, look at the facilities. This is awesome. And it warms my heart again because when it's all said and done, this is my new office space. This is my home. This is where I work. This is where I put in the long hours. But I have to commend you because you came from a coaching background. You coached, you did these same things that coaches such as myself go through. You've been a part of this end of it. And it means something more. It's a compliment to the administration for putting you in that position because number one, you deserve it. Number two, the second part is when you get there, you take the baton, you take off with it, which I got a chance to see for myself. So it makes a lot of coaches like me who say, wow, man, hope I can, after practice, I can grab a shower. Well, listen, I got a wonderful bathroom, but it's the little things, like you said, and I have to contribute that to you being on this side of the fence. You get it. You know exactly what it's all about. Your successful years at Stone Mountain High School. By the way, you beat me out for that job. I never forget that. I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up. I'm going to credit Dr. Ralph Simpson. Amazing administrator. Amazing. But, listen, you beat me out for the job. But it was on good terms because one thing he said to me, I never forget, he said, I'm going to give this job. Jasper Jewell is going to take this job because he's laid the foundation. He's rolled his sleeves up. And he's done the work behind the scenes. And of course, any coach, when you're not the head coach and the head coach leaves, you want to be able to say you might be the next person in line. Well, your work spoke for itself because when you took the job, you took it and you ran with it. And Stone Mountain was in a better place because of Dr. Ralph Simpson putting you in that position to be successful. But see, it all starts in the core of where you are. So I get to see the fruits of the labor now, is what I'm really trying to say. And it's really good to see because for people on the outside looking in, and I mean out of state, not in Georgia, Atlanta Public Schools, one of the largest school districts in Georgia. And yes, this is football country. And it's football country for everybody, you know, and north, south, east, west, high income, low income, that game of football doesn't change. So with you being in charge of the way things go here, as far as what we are accessible to, you know, I heard you mention about visions for the future.
Yes.
And through the visions of the future, what we're in right now in regards to just, you know, the whole pandemic state, expound on a little bit your point of view that you brought to the powers that be, and especially having a chance to hear Dr. Herring, our new superintendent, 2 days ago. Fascinating. Expound on where you think Atlanta Public Schools is going to be at the top of the charts working through football season this fall.
Well, first and foremost, let me say that Dr. Lisa Herring is, I've been in education. This is my 27th year.
Yeah.
And I've worked for a lot of great superintendents. But I don't know if I've worked for a superintendent that is more transparent and just genuine than Dr. Lisa Herring. She has a heart of gold, and she listens to everything you say, and she takes it for exactly what it is. And she put a lot of trust, and she puts a lot of belief in me. And for me, that makes me feel great. I'm excited to roll up my sleeves and work for her. One of the things that I've always envisioned for APS is something that, as a graduate of APS, we didn't get very much of. And that is expose our kids and expose our teams to much more than just being a football program or being a basketball program. Okay. As you know, the Corky Kell Kickoff Classic has been around in existence for 29 years.
Yes.
I went to the board of Corky Kell, and Dave Hunter's a great friend of mine. So is I.J. Rosenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, listen, Corky Kell is right here in our backyard.
That's right.
It's right here in Atlanta. It was born at the Georgia Dome.
That's right.
Which is walking distance from a few of my high schools. Why isn't APS involved? What has been the issue? So I continued and I stayed persistent. I was very professional, but I stayed persistent. And 2 years ago, Benjamin Mays High School was the first Atlanta public school to open up Corky Kell Kickoff Classic, to be a part of Corky Kell Kickoff Classic. And it's 20, at the time, it was 27-year existence. This year, we're blessed and honored to say that Carver High School and Mays High School will be participating in Corky Kell Kickoff Classic. As a matter of fact, we're going to be the first 2 high school games in the state of Georgia on September 2nd. Mays is slated to play West Forsyth, and Carver slated to play Cherokee. So these are the things that I'm proud of. Also, we've had baseball all-star games in the old Turner Field, which is now GSU Stadium. We've played at the new Truist Park. We've had basketball games down in the Phillips Arena. And see, for me, it's more than just for me to say, hey, we played in these venues. Here's the deal. Some of our kids, quite frankly, they may not ever see the inside of those ballparks again in life. As adults, as elderly, you know. So I want to give them that experience now so that they can take that away, and that can be a life lesson. That can be something that they can say, hey, I was a part of Atlanta Public Schools, and we participated in a game in Truist Park. We played at Phillips Arena, State Farm Arena. We played in Mercedes-Benz or Georgia Dome. These are the type things that I want our programs to continue to be a part of and grow. We started a classic last year called the Great Atlanta Bash. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when the Georgia Dome was up and running, we had an event every year called Atlanta Public Schools Dome Coming. So Dome Coming would be, it would be homecoming for 3 Atlanta Public School teams, and they would have their homecomings in the Georgia Dome, which is why the name Dome Coming came about. So when Mercedes-Benz Stadium came about, we were able to play in it the first year. But I said, hey, let's take this outside to GSU Stadium. which is really in the backyard of two of my high schools, which is Carver High School and Maynard Jackson.
That's
That
right.
place splits the community. So we were blessed and had an opportunity to start the Great Atlanta Bass last year. And
Right.
this year, we're thankful enough to partner with Clayton County Schools to play the Great Atlanta Bass Battle of the Mascot Challenge. So
Battle of
this year,
Mascot Challenge.
Battle of the Mascots. So for the first game, it's going to be the Battle of the Eagles. Best Academy will take on North Clayton.
Okay.
Game two will be the Battle of the Cats, where it'll be Carver Atlanta versus Lovejoy.
Wow.
And the nightcap will be the Battle of the Raiders, where you have the Riverdale Raiders and the Mays High School Raiders. So these are the type things, these are the type buzzes that we like to create for our student athletes, our stakeholders, our administrators, and our coaches. We want them to walk away from this and say, hey, he's always pushing for us to be better, to be a part of things, why can't we be a part of things that some of our more affluent counties be a part of? We don't just settle the fact that, we are urban school district. We want to be great as well. And that's what I always want to strive for. We are great. Dare to be great. That's what I say. I dare everybody to be great because I think that's what we deserve. I think that's where we are. And I'm excited about the opportunities.
That's spoken like a true leader of an athletic district of various sports. I want to talk on that for a minute because you've gotten a lot of awards, you've got a lot of boards and things that you've been on, but I want to hit two things that are near and dear to my heart, and it resounds when you talk about once again the nooks and crannies of success and building inside of a school's district as far as sports. But one being, you served as a board member on the Minority Coaches Association, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the first and the largest minority coaches association in America.
Amen.
Okay. And here's the great thing about it. Yes, it's Minority Coaches Association, but let me tell you something. When you go to those clinics, it is coaches from every walk of life, every
Amen.
color, every place you can think of. And it is a beautiful event of coaches learning football. And the greatest part about it, I love, with the founder of it being Ahmad Tinker, outstanding former coach as well. Love to have him on this show as well soon so he can drop some knowledge about how well things are going with the Minority Coach Association. But the biggest names in football, collegiate football, I'm talking my favorite. You know I'm about to say it, sports fan. I'm about to say Bama. Nick Saban is at the clinic. Gus Malzahn at the clinic. So many. Kirby Smart. Let me get that out. I got to get that out.
You better say Dan Mullen because I'm a University of Florida fan.
That's
now.
right, Dan Mullen. So let me go ahead and hit it in a nutshell. Along with coaches at Georgia, head coaches at Georgia Southern. Listen, he's had the top coaches in America at this clinic that we have in the spring. And I'm gonna tell you all, it's a who's who of coaches.
Yes,
ACC, SEC, out west, up northwest, Midwest, you name it. They've all been here. And it's a beautiful celebration of all coaches of all colors that get together and have a brotherhood of learning as much about football from the best. And Jasper, that is a fascinating event. I remember when it first started. I remember when Coach Tinker had his first event. I want to say it was at either Lakewood or one of your stadiums,
yes.
And it was cold and freezing rain.
Yes, it was.
I was head coach at Dutchtown, and I had 15 seniors. I told them all, y'all better be there. Okay, There might be some scouts out there to watch it. And to this day, it wasn't a big turnout, but most of the kids there were my kids, and me and Coach Tinker talk about it, laugh about it today. But to watch what it's blossomed to today, talk about that a little bit.
Well, Ahmad Tinker, he's not only a great friend to me, he's one of my fraternity brothers, and he's like a real brother to me, as is you are, Kevin. When I say you would never meet another person more passionate about our kids, our children, and when I say our, meaning all children.
Amen.
He loves children, and he wants children to be successful. That's what I love about Ahmad Tinker. I told Coach Tink if anytime he needs to use one of my facilities, because he opens his doors up, he has 100% free range to use my facilities because he's about helping children. And everybody that goes to the great lengths that he goes to help children, because let's be real now, he's been out of coaching a while.
Yes,
He's on
yes.
the administrative side of life now.
Yeah, he's on the other side.
He's on the other side. But when I say you won't find another person more passionate about two things, he's all about coach education and helping people and individuals grow in their craft and their field and helping children. And I love that about Amari Tinker. If you don't have that same level of passion, then you may not get along with him because
Right.
he is very passionate about what he does.
That's right.
And
Transparent.
transparent. That's what I love about him. That's what I love about him dearly. So I just want to say, I remember when we had the first original meet here at Lakewood State in my conference room, and I was like, oh, I'm on this founding board. What are we doing now? To see where this thing has blossomed to now. Just as you said, when we have recruiting expos and you sit next to Kirby Smart and Gus Malzahn having a conversation, BJ Fleck having a conversation,
right.
You're like, wow, this is where we are now. And hats off to Ahmad Tinker for being that visionary, putting this together and making it come to fruition for our children. When I say our, I mean all of our kids.
That's right.
Every time it's here, I pay for all of the APS coaches to go to his recruitment fair.
Oh, wow.
And for not only is it because I want them to get their kids in school, but the camaraderie and the relationship building that you get when you go there with other coaches from all over the state, with college recruiters from all over the nation. That's second to none. You can't find that anywhere else.
That's right.
It's a good time, and it's all for the best interest of our kids and our coaches. And that's what I love about everything as related to the Georgia Minority Coaches Association.
The second thing I want to mention before we go is you're also a part of the only minority that sits on the Georgia High School Association Athletic Directors Board, or should I say board. You're in the meeting room. And at the end of the day, you have to speak and talk about so much in regards to how it pertains to not just the affluent counties, but also the inner city. And speak to us real quick on that.
Well, real quick, myself and Candace Mitchell, who's my assistant director, she served as an at-large member for the last 4 years, and we're hopeful to vote her back on again this fall. But being on the board of trustees for GHSA, one thing I can say is a great group of individuals on that board. Right. They see me as Jasper Jewell. They don't see me as Jasper Jewell, the minority. They see me as Jasper Jewell. But if there are times that there are certain situations that come up that I need to speak as Jasper Jewell, the minority, I have no problem doing that. But one thing I can say, working with Dr. Hines and our president, Dr. Glenn White of the Board of Trustees, it's been a great experience. It's an experience that I will always cherish and that I'm going to always hold a high regard. And I understand that I'm carrying a torch, not only for myself, but I'm carrying a torch for all minorities. I'm carrying a torch for every last one of the minorities. And I carry that torch pridefully and proudly because, you know, I at the end of the day, I don't care if anybody has anything to say about Jasper Jewell, but he cared about people because that's what I'm about. I care about kids. I care about coaches. I care about ADs. I just want to do whatever I can to help somebody get to the next level. And now next level may be college football. It may be the workforce, maybe the armed force, but I want to help them get to the next level.
Well, listen, Jasper, that's why I wanted you here on the show today, because I'm impressed of the work that's been done here in Atlanta Public Schools. And yes, I've been knowing you for a long, long time. And it's just amazing that I get to see the fruits of your labor. I'm impressed. I thank you for all that you've done for kids in Metro Atlanta, a big melting pot of many nationalities of kids. We're in the Buckhead area, but it still serves all parts of Atlanta. And it's just a joy to see that as a high school coach, you get to be in a place where, you know, the people up top that are in charge of making decisions have your back. And that's more important than anything else, because when somebody has your back, that means you work a little harder than maybe you would have at any other time. So I want to thank you for your time. It has been a joy talking to you. Hopefully we can get Coach Tink on, because you and I both know he can talk like the best of them, and he's
Yes,
going to
he
keep
can.
it straight, no chaser.
Yes, he
But I
can.
thank you so much for you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. And once again, welcome to the APS family. We're ecstatic to have you.
Well, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the show, today, please make sure that you share. And thank you so much. Once again, 100 yards of football sports. Thank you.
Thank you.